the recording session here. And those of you who are on watching me on Zoom here, let me see if you are in a position to unmute yourself and say, think, what did I set for you here? Where are you? Where is this gone? Participants. Come on, show me the participant here. Okay, so let's see whether you have the, yeah, you can unmute yourself. So whenever you have to speak something, you can always unmute yourself and join the call here. And I need to record the audio conference also for those who like to do audio only. And here, I'm going to put you on mute, Smriti Mataji.
All participants are muted and they can unmute themselves.
And I'm going to just start the recording.
The recording has started.
Do the prayers for you all here. Prayers starting with the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Thapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagadam Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. So I think some more devotees have joined the call. So I see now Varshana Mataji. Very good. And Preeti Radhika Mataji and Garima Mataji joining us on the Zoom call here. And if you can unmute yourself and say Hari Bol, that'll be good. And I saw Preeti Radhika Mataji jump on Facebook to Zoom.
Hari Bol Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol Mataji.
Hari Bol, Sonia.
Hare Krishna Ma.
Hari Krishna, Preeti Radhika. And Bhagyasri Mataji is also joining us on Facebook. And let's see, it looks like today Facebook is trending. We only have Archana Mataji and Smriti Mataji on our audio call. And that's good. So we will get going into the Bhagavatam. But before reciting any verse from Bhagavatam, we will do one more prayer. And that is from the first canto, second chapter, verse number 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.35. Okay, so those of you who are waiting for the link on WhatsApp, I'm just going to send that to you really quickly here. 1.5.35 coming up on a screen near you. There we go. So you can just follow along as I go. And those of you who are joined us on the audio call, if you can confirm that you have joined the call, that you have received the link, that would be great. So one of you can unmute yourself and let me know about that. And let's see if I can share the screen with you who are on Zoom. And please confirm that you're able to see the screen here. I'm sharing 1735 on the screen and posted on Facebook page also for those of you who are following along over there.
Yes, Mataji, we can see it.
You can see that. Very good. And on the phone, you got the link, Archana Mataji or Smriti Mataji, can you confirm so that I can rest in peace here? Oh, you know what? I have not given them the permission to unmute themselves. How can this be?
All participants are unmuted. Yes, Mataji, got it. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
so
Mataji,
thank
we
you.
got it.
Sorry about that.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
I just messed you up. Too many
Hare Krishna,
concerns.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Dandavat
Archana. Dandavat pranam, dear Prabhupada. Okay, so let's first look at verse number 34 to find our bearings, right? So there's a lot going on in the Aswatthama front, right? And then, so here we are saying that after binding Aswatthama, Arjun wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood, right? And then what did he speak is what we are going to discuss here in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.35. So Sri Bhagwan is saying, and obviously usually when Sri Bhagwan says something, the verse starts with Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, right? Is that right or right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? But in this one, we don't have a Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Why is it like that?
Mataji, it's not Krishna is not talking here.
And why it is not written over here is in the previous verse. Okay, not this one. Well, where did I go? In the previous verse, which is verse number 34, it is being narrated. So it's 1734. So this is Sutta Goswami is talking. And then here, he's saying that the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood. So that is being conveyed here in the previous verse. So he's not reiterating it there one more time in verse number 35, like that. Okay, because we always have to attribute words to Krishna because that's how our parampara is based, right? We always say that you should look for words and look for information coming from Krishna. We talked about that in the morning today also, right? So 1735 is being spoken by Bhagwan. And Bhagwan says, Mainam partharsi hasi tratum brahma bandhum imam jahi yosav anagasaha suptan avadhi nishi balakan. Mainam partharsi tratum brahma bandhum imam jahi yosav anagasaha suptan avadhin nishi balakan. And let's go to the synonyms here. Mam enam. Ma enam. Ma means no or never, right? That gets combined and becomes menam here. Ma enam means never unto him. Partha, O Arjuna. Arhasi, ought to. Tratam, give release. Brahma bandhum, a relative of a Brahmana. Imam, him. Jahi, kill. Ya, he who has. Asau, those. Anagasaha, faultless. Suptan, while sleeping. Avadhit, killed. Right? So, you know, vadh, and then from here, you see the word vadh inside it. So, avadhit, avadhit, killed. Nishi, at night. Balakan, the boys. Okay? So, the translation for this is Lord Shri Krishna said, O Arjun, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. So, before we go further, let's do a little, discussion over here. And so he's saying that so what are the wrong things that Aswatthama has done?
Killed properly sons while they were asleep.
Yeah, Archana, hold on to the part because someone on the Zoom is someone on the Zoom is speaking. Yeah, please tell me. Yeah.
Yes,
So
Mataji, I was saying that he killed.
one offense per person, because I think there are a lot about to tell us what Aswatthama did wrong, right? So even if you know of many offenses that he's committed, just give me one. Okay. Yeah.
One is that he killed Draupadi's sons while they were sleeping.
Okay,
While they were asleep.
So he killed them while they were sleeping. Okay. What else is wrong?
He released the Brahmastra without knowing how to get it back.
Okay. He leaves the Brahmastra not knowing how to get it back, right? So he killed innocent boys in the sleep. Is that one aparad or is it multiple?
Multiple.
And
Because there are multiple souls that he
There are multiple.
killed.
yeah, so if he kills one boy in his sleep, then it is one aparad that way, by that logic, right? Right?
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
But it is actually
Yeah.
it is actually two offenses. Why? Because one is that you don't kill boys, right? They're small. So there are few that you don't kill, right? Who are the four that you don't kill? You never kill?
A Brahmana,
Mm-hmm.
Stree,
woman,
Women, yeah.
cow.
The one who doesn't have,
children.
Yeah.
the one who doesn't have the shastras in his hand.
One who's unarmed, yes. What else?
Unarmed.
You don't do
And
you kill
and a cow.
yeah, human beings I was asking, but cow is right, but
Oh,
not
okay.
yeah. And there's an answer on our audio conference. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Old person?
Old people, yes, dear Madhavi.
Old people.
You don't kill the old people, right? And you
Hare
don't kill
Krishna,
the
Mataji.
young, and you don't, yes, Hare Krishna, you don't kill the old, nor do you kill the young, right? And then he was killing them in the sleep. Nishi is the word that is used in the Sanskrit there. And so Nishi means that it's night and people are sleeping, so you don't kill them there, right? Even the war used to happen even during the daytime, right? After the sun is set, they don't fight, right? And then one more thing which is wrong completely in the principle is that he's a Brahmana, right? He's not supposed to do the job of Kshatriyas, right? So he has acted against his varna to go about killing people like that. Okay, so now I'm going to do our round of looking for the Sanskrit words to polish our Sanskrit here. And like to welcome Uncle Goyal Prabhu, Prabir Datta Prabhu. I don't know who's there on Prabhu Datta. Is it Sunita Mataji or is it Prabir Prabhu? I don't know. You can tell me. And then Dheer Madhi Mataji.
This is Prabhu Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Prabir Prabhu. So happy to have you on the call. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Haribol, Haribol. Okay, so here we are going to do some questions, right? And so what is the meaning of releasing or giving some release to somebody?
Tratum.
Dhatum, right, correct. And then what is the meaning of killed in Sanskrit?
Avadhit.
And what is night?
Nishi.
Nishi.
And give me one more word for kill in Sanskrit from this verse.
Vad.
Vad is there, yes, one more.
Jahi Mataji.
Jahi, you got it, Jahi.
Jahi.
That sounds like a very simple and a sweet word, right? Jahi.
Jahi.
Jahi Shatru, yeah. Right, very good. And if you're going to tell that you ought to do this, what does it mean in Sanskrit?
Arhasi.
Arhasi.
Arhasi. And a relative of a Brahmana, what is he called?
Brahmabandhu.
Brahmabandhu.
Brahmabandhu. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so what is boys?
Balikan.
Balakan.
Balkan. And if somebody doesn't have a fault, what are you going to call him?
What, Mataji? What was the question?
Someone doesn't have any faults.
Oh, Anagasha.
Anagasaha.
Nagasaha.
Anagasa. So who were faultless in this verse?
The boys.
Children.
Boys.
The little boys. Yes, exactly. The little boys. Yeah. Okay. So let's go now.
Mataji,
Yeah.
I have a curiosity question. Can I ask now?
Yes.
Just wondering why boys were there in the battlefield.
Good question.
Why were they?
Yeah. So the battle is over, right? When this is happening,
Oh.
Mahabharata war is over, right? But these people used to come and meet because Kshatriyanis are not scared of war and these kind of things. They used to come there.
Oh, okay,
The
okay,
camp, to the
okay,
military
Matthew.
camp,
Thank
the campground, yeah. But anyway, here the war is also over, like that. And we have to remember it's a fratricidal war, right? So I mean, they would have that attachment that grandfather Bhishma is lying on the bed of arrows and things like this. Ladies will want to see and offer obeisances and things like that. Yeah.
you. Right.
Mhm. Okay. So let's go into the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Brahma
Yeah.
Bandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in the family of a Brahmana but is not qualified to be called a Brahmana is addressed as the relative of a Brahmana and not as a Brahmana. And Prabhupada gives a very nice example. He says the son of a high court judge is not virtually a high court judge. But there is no harm in addressing a high court judge's son as the relative of an honorable justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a high court judge. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a high court judge, so also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualifications of a Brahmana. As the high court judgeship is a post for the qualified man, so also the post of a Brahmana is attainable by qualification only. The Shastra enjoins that if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of a Brahmana, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahmana. And similarly, if a person born in the family of a Brahmana is void of Brahminical qualification, then he must be treated as a non-Brahmana, or in better terms, a relative of a Brahmana. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles. One more time. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences, and he's about to explain the reason for this in the shlokas that is going to come later, right? So we'll stop and we'll pause here and we'll take reflections. So what are some of the things that struck you while we were discussing this? I was reading this actually. And Preeti Radhika, I got your message. Yeah. Bring back some gems from your Guru Maharaj's meeting. Sorry.
Thank you. Sure. So it was notable that that in olden days, in the caste system was kind of blocked. Like if you, or rather, most recently, if your dad is a Kshatriya, then you're known as Kshatriya, and like that. But looks like in very ancient times, it was because of your qualification you were a Brahmin or Kshatriya or something like that, not because your ancestors were Kshatriya or something. It's whatever your inclination was.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes. What your consciousness is. Then you become Brahmana, and that's why so many times, aho batsa pachato yad gari and yad jivhare vartate nama tubhyam. So Devahuti says that, she's glorifying and she's saying, even if he's a swapacho means a dog eater. He not only eats hot dogs, he also eats dogs, like that. And so, but if they are chanting the holy names of the Lord, she says that, they have already done, they have read the Vedas, they have gone and taken a bath in all the sacred rivers, they've done everything to be able to do that. And, Shabri, she's so revered. She was from she was a tribal woman, like that. So yes, it went mostly on the qualifications, and that's why you would also sometimes find that if a prince was not suitable to become a king, then they would bring in somebody else. It was not your birthright. That because you are born there, so you'll become the king. And that's why, if you go back to if you go to Bhagavad Gita and look into Mahabharata a little back from where we are reading right now, that Dhritarashtra's son was Duryodhana was Dhritarashtra's son, and Dhritarashtra's was not qualified, so that's why Pandu took over, right? And then Pandu dies, so Dhritarashtra has to be brought back again. But Pandu was the king, and then his sons. But between his sons and Dhritarashtra's sons, they again said that the teachers said they asked some questions to find out who's qualified. They just didn't say because you are the son of Dhritarashtra and Dhritarashtra is the king, so you should inherit the kingdom. Or they did not say to Pandu that, okay, actually your father was the original, and so the Pandavas should become the king. They put them to some tests, so they would do that. And that's why they had a very nice system that there was a king who would be advised by the Raj Gurus. And the Raj Gurus would give advise on matters like this, in addition to other advice that they always gave them. Yeah. So one of the things about the caste system is also that caste, where you say caste, is when you're saying that I'm just mincing words over here, that you're coming from a caste, and what that basically means, that I'm coming from this particular womb of a Brahmin lady, and so I'm a Brahmana. I'm caste like that. But so there was no such system, as you pointed out rightly, Preeti Radhika, earlier. But it's a more recent development, where people started to say that you're born in a Brahmin family, so you are a Brahmin, and nobody else can do Brahminical activities and things like that. And so this kind of groupism, like grouping things and forming your own small groups, will happen when you're facing some kind of a danger from outside, and you want to preserve your culture. You don't want anybody and everybody to come and do that, and to declare and proclaim that I have the qualifications to do that, so I should be able to do that. For example, if a person was qualified to become a priest in the olden days, they would allow them to become a priest. But when there were invasions that were happening on India, right, especially from people coming from the western side, like Afghanistan and beyond, right? So they were Malechas. And so the people over here, they wanted to preserve the culture, and he said, no, you're not a Brahmin, you're not from this family, okay, you can't come into the temple, and things like that, because they were also breaking the temples, right? Plundering and things like that. So this caste system kind of became worse fairly recently. And when I say fairly recently, I mean hundreds of years is nothing. in our talking. Yeah, let me mute. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to mute all participants, and then you can unmute yourself whenever you have to speak. It's a little bit of a work for you, but yeah. And then Bhagyashree Mataji has also joined the call. I'm glad that I looked in that direction, not to miss anybody. And Deepak Bhardaj Prabhu, good to have you here as well. Okay, so yeah, so to preserve their systems and the temples and the culture and the books, etc., which people were coming and plundering. So the people kind of became like more closed like that, and then it became worse in the recent years. And I was saying that a few hundred years in our vocabulary doesn't make any sense, because we talk about millenniums. And, oh, this happened in this cycle of Kali Yuga, and that happened in that cycle of Satya Yuga. And we talk about Brahma, and then Brahma is being born. Brahma is born, and he lives for the duration of an exhalation and an inhalation of Lord Vishnu. And so it's mind-boggling time scales that we're talking of over here, like that. Yes, so a good point. What else? What else comes from this very simple, seemingly simple? Anything else that comes to mind? So so we have talked, what Krishna is saying, that he's just a son of a Brahmana. So obviously our Aswatthama was lacking some qualities that Krishna is looking for in a Brahmana. So who actually is a Brahman, right? Who actually is a Brahman? So that's the question that we ask. And then what happens is that we get confused. We are not brought up speaking Sanskrit, and some of us know only English, like that. So there's always these words that are confused. There's a word Brahmana and Brahman. Brahman and Brahmana, right? So there is a difference between Brahman and Brahmana. And our Bhagavad Gita will talk about that. And questions and, direct question about what is Brahman is asked by Arjun in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He says, Kim tadbram kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam adhidevam kim uchyate. So he's saying that, what is, to Krishna is asking, what is Brahman, what is the self, what is fruitive activities, what is karma, and all that stuff. He's asking, right? And then Krishna is going to answer that question, right? And he says that Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Sabhavo Adhyatma Uchyate Bhuta Bhavo Bhavakaro Visarga Karma Sangitaha. So he's basically saying that the indestructible and the transcendental, which is like the spiritual living entity, is called Brahman. So here Krishna is saying that Brahman is the living entity, which is nothing but the soul, right? So it is indestructible, it is eternally existing, its constitution is not changed. And from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have been reading of many more qualities of this Brahman. Can you tell us, those who attend the morning class, can you tell us some more properties of these morning, from the morning class?
It can not be slain.
It cannot be
Ne-
slain. Yes, very
It doesn't die.
good. It does not die. Yes, it
Can I
cannot.
say
Yeah.
something?
Who wants to say? Whoever wants to say, please say.
Priti Radhika wants to say
Oh,
Sanskrit.
okay,
Yeah.
yes. please say.
Nenan chandanti shastrani, nenan dahati pavaka, na chenan klidin tapo, na shoshati maruta.
Very nice. And please elaborate in English for us.
So the soul cannot be dried by wind, cannot be cut by a weapon, cannot be or slain by a weapon. Water cannot wear it. Wind cannot dry it.
Dry it, right? Yes, very good. Right? So these are the qualities of a Brahman. And then Krishna, responds to that and says that, okay, this is what Brahman is, right? And then there is Para Brahman, right? Para Brahman. So what is Para Brahman? If Brahman is soul, what do you think is Para Brahman?
Super soul, Mataji.
Yes, super soul or supreme personality of Godhead. You can also call them Brahman. But usually when you're talking about super personality of Godhead, you usually have a name because you're talking about a personality. So we will have a name over there, right? But when you're looking at, super soul or the Brahman effulgence, that is also called Brahman, like that, right? And so people use these terms. They will use these terms, sometimes, exchanging it like that. Right? But we have to remember that the word Para Brahman is reserved for God. Right? Soul can be called God. Right? Soul can be called Brahman. Right? Sometimes people might call even mind as Brahman, things like that. Right? They will do that. But Para Brahman, will never call the soul as Para Brahman. Right? Soul is never the same as the Lord. The Para Brahman is like the supreme absolute truth. That is Brahman there. Now Bhagavatam also talks about Brahman, right? And does anybody remember where all this is where does it talk about that? Very, very famous verse. From first
Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdate.
There you go. Very good for 600 points. Srimad Bhagavatam 1-11 says that. Vadanti tattva tattva vidas tatpadyad jnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagwan iti shabdate. So it's defining what is God, and it's saying that this absolute truth is known by three names, right? And it is called Brahman and Paramatma or Bhagwan. So according to this verse, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan, if are the three aspects of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what do you think is Brahman? Which part of Krishna are they defining as Brahman here?
Effulgence of Krishna?
The effulgence coming from Krishna, right? Okay. So you will see that from places to places in the Vedic literature, you'll see the word Brahman has associated with, soul is called Brahman, super soul is called Brahman, Supreme Lord sometimes is called Brahman, the effulgence, absolute truth, because absolute truth, when you're talking in abstract terms, so that is also known as Brahman. And sometimes, a saintly person is also addressed as Brahman. You'll find Narad Muni is being, addressed as Brahman like that. Right? So that is, we have to keep the distinction in our mind. But here in this verse, we're talking about Brahmana, right? It's the Brahmana Bandhu is what it is talking about. He's a relative of a Brahmana, right? So then, before we go and try to slice and dice Brahmana, what is the difference between Brahmin and a Brahmana? Let's share our thoughts on that. What do you think is the difference?
Is it Mataji?
Okay, Archana, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
You didn't, yeah, Archana didn't get a chance last time, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mataji, Brahman is the absolute truth, and Brahmana is the knower of the absolute truth, who
Okay.
knows about the absolute truth.
Okay, but my question is different. You are telling me the difference between Brahmana and Brahman, right? But
Brahman.
I'm asking
Yeah.
Brahmin, Brah. M-I-N, Brahmin and Brahmana, like that. Brahmin and Brahmana. Brahmin, right? What is your caste? I'm a Brahmin, we say that, right?
Yeah, Mataji.
And Brahmana.
No idea, Mataji.
Mataji, I was going to take a guess.
Same, Mataji. It's in Hindi and Sanskrit.
Okay, Hindi and Sanskrit is very close. One of them is in Sanskrit, other one is in English. So it's sometimes how in a language words from another language come in. Deshaj and Videshi, your own words from your language and words that you get from other languages, and they become part of your language. For example, the word guru is used nowadays, right? He's a management guru. It's a very well acclaimed word, right? So sometimes words from other languages come into your language. They are known as foreign words in your language. And so Brahmin is nothing but Brahmana. It's just that Brahmin is called Brahmana in Sanskrit. It's a language, it's a nuance of the language that you're using. That's all that is there, right? Okay, so so now that we know, okay, so Brahman is effulgence or the soul or the super soul, Brahman. You'll find that word, and that's a Sanskrit word. You'll find that word. Right? Brahmin is an English word, and Brahmana is again a Sanskrit word, and we are trying to find out who exactly is a Brahmana, right? So now before we can understand, what exactly Brahmana is, we have to understand, about a little bit about the modes of the material nature, because this term has got something to do with that. And in which chapter of Bhagavad Gita are the modes of material nature defined? Anybody remember?
Chapter 14, Mataji.
Chapter 14 for 60 points. There goes to Archana. Okay, so I'm going to send you a link. And please confirm.
Yes, we got it.
Yeah. Okay, just give me 1 second. Somebody's pinging me here. I need to answer that. So, okay, so let's just go here, and let me also bring that up here on my screen. Can you see that? Can somebody confirm that they can see that?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm not sharing.
Mataji.
Okay, all right. So let me just share it here with you all here really quickly, and sharing the screen. Please confirm that you're able to Paschyami. You can see.
Yes.
Okay. So from 14th chapter, it's saying Sattvam Rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. So what it's saying is that material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes into contact with with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So what is conditioning? What do you think is conditioning? What does it mean to be conditioned?
Almost like train you. So these
We
modes, when
get used.
They almost train you, they overtake you,
Mhm.
make you behave in a certain way, right? Right. So we have that very famous Pavlov's experiment of how showing food to the dog, and the dog would salivate and ring the bell, right? Both at the same time. And after some time, just ringing the bell and the dog would salivate because he was conditioned. So what the modes of the material nature do is that they condition the living soul, the living entity. And the living entity, once it gets into that body, is thinking that this is how I should behave. And there's a very famous story about how our Indra once was put into the body of a pig, of a hog. And he stayed there for 12 years. He had a wife, a pig wife, and he had many children. And then when Brahmaji says, hey, come back, you've been there for 12 years. You have to come back and do your work. You're the king of the heavens. Do your duty. He says, I don't want to come back. I'm enjoying it here. I've got a nice wife. I've got nice kids. I'm eating stool every day. This is fantastic. So you see, the same soul which belongs to Indra, who's the king of the heaven, when it enters into a pig's body, it starts behaving like a pig. So the modes of material nature, they do these things to us. Okay? Now, so how many modes of material nature are there?
3.
3.
Name them.
Goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Goodness, passion, and ignorance for 100 points to Varshana Mataji. Okay. So here we see that, so obviously each of these modes exhibit certain qualities, right? So which is the best?
Goodness.
Goodness.
Okay, right. And can you give me characteristics of some people who are in the mode of goodness? What do they do? How do they look like?
They're truthful. They're honest.
Mm-hmm.
Righteous.
They're righteous. They won't be, and they are usually happy. And they also have a sense that, I am happy. And they have a sense that I have knowledge. Like that, knowledgeable. I'm pursuing. I'm doing patan like that. Right? Then what about the next lower? So this is the highest and the best, right? Goodness. What comes next after goodness?
Passion.
Passion.
What's the big deal about being in passion? What are the symptoms of a person who's in the mode of passion?
Extra endeavor than necessary to maintain body and soul together.
Extra, more than is required, right? More than is required. So that means why do they work more than is required then? There must be something that is driving them, right? What is it?
That you always wanting more and more of whatever they have.
Yeah, so want is also translates, the word want also translates into desire, right? So they have lots of desires and hankerings and longings, and then they say, louder, the Madhvi, for some reason I'm not able to hear you.
And they have a lot of attachment.
They have strong attachment.
They do work for fruitive activities.
Yes, very good, very good. And yes, and welcome Piyush Sharma Prabhu. I'm so happy to see you here after a long time. Welcome. Yes, after the passion, thanks Adhir Madhvi, then what comes? Lower than that is?
Mode of ignorance.
Yes.
Mode of ignorance. Okay, and what happens in mode of ignorance?
They live in illusion, inertia, darkness.
There is inertia. Yeah, inertia means not moving. I'm lazy, I'll just stay there, right? I won't move, I don't want to do anything. Right? Do they sleep a lot? Those in the mode of ignorance?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, Mati.
Yeah, they try to do that. So when you're in the mode of goodness, you are happy. When you are in the passion, you're doing a lot of work, a lot of fruitive work, ugra karma, right? And then when you're ignorant, you are mad, because your knowledge is completely covered over there. Now we have to.
Mataji, it's I have read this term somewhere, deliberate disobedience of the laws of nature. And can we just call it a characteristics of the people who are in mode of ignorance, or not necessarily?
It will be there in the mode of ignorance. They would do that because one of the laws of nature, one of the laws for human beings are you're supposed to utilize your body, rathato brahma jigyasa, right? And you're not doing it. You're deliberately, avoiding it. But more than that, more than the mode of people in the mode of ignorance, those who will violate the laws, who are the ones who will violate it more?
In the mode of ignorance and passion, Mataji.
Passion, right?
Both
The mode of passion could also do it, could also avoid it.
Oh, okay. So, okay, Mataji. Yeah, that was
I want it by hook or by crook. I want.
Right.
I will disobey all the. That's what you see. There is so much. So Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhunjita magraha kasya siddhanam. Ishopanishad first verse says that Krishna is the controller of everything. And tena taktena bhunjita means that you have to just get whatever you are supposed to get. Right? Don't go beyond that. And what do? We try to get as much as possible from all possible sources, and we just sap everything out of Mother Nature without even thinking about what's happening, what's going to happen to the future generations, what's happening right now, what are the side effects of this, the ozone layer being depleted, your rivers being polluted, nothing like that, right? Deliberately you're avoiding, you're deliberately not following the laws of material nature. Yes. It's a deliberate, you have thought about it and you're doing it.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. You're very, very well cognizant that this is what's happening. So now these three modes of material nature, we have to understand that there is a competition going on between all of them, and that competition happens 24/7. So sometimes mode of goodness will win, sometimes mode of ignorance will, defeat and become prominent. Sometimes passion will become prominent. So it's a very natural thing. It's a natural thing. It keeps on going on for any embodied being. This will happen. So when you are, and we should aim to be in the mode of goodness, because Satyam Yad Brahma Darshanam. So you have to elevate and you have to be at the mode of goodness, because after that, you'll be able to transcend the modes of material nature and go beyond the para Brahman that we were talking about, the transcendental. So you transcend, right? There's ascend and descend, and there is transcend. You are transcending and going into the other world, the spiritual world. So to reach that level, you have to, it's kind of like a staircase. So lowest is ignorance, above the ignorance is passion, above the passion is goodness. So you have to reach to goodness to be able to cross over and go to the spiritual plane like that. But we have to remember that there is a fight, and then anything could be defeated. And what that means is that you could be in the mode of goodness, and then you can be overcome by mode of ignorance. So can you give me an example of a person who was in mode of goodness and he was overcome by mode of ignorance from our Shastras?
Jamil Mataji?
Ajamil, very good. Ajamil was a Brahmana, right? He got overcome. Yeah.
Durvasa Muni also, like, because he is
Sorta,
very elevated,
yes.
but he just he get envy with the Maharaj
Amrish.
Amrish, yeah.
Yes, the Durvasa Muni.
Arjuna.
Arjuna. And what happened to Arjuna? From which mode did he go to which mode?
From passion to sattva gun.
Yeah, he went up actually, right? From passion, he went into
He went up,
goodness because he had a lot of compassion. I can't kill, and he's crying and like that, right? So you see, people can move from higher to lower, lower to higher, right? And anytime that there is a failure in our devotional service, we are usually, going down into a lower mode, right? But we have to understand that highest quality is goodness, right? And like you said, Sapriti Radhika said that there's truthfulness, there's mental equilibrium, there's cleanliness, and those kind of things are there, right? But we have to understand that all these qualities of material nature, they are mixed with passion and ignorance. So there's nothing like pure goodness. When you come to pure goodness, it is known as Vishuddha, Vishuddha Sattvam. So there's Sattvam, and then beyond the Sattvam, there is Vishuddha Sattvam, where there is no contamination. Otherwise, even if you're in goodness, there could be a little bit of contamination coming here and there. Like you are a rishi and you're fine, you're in the morning, but as soon as the sun comes out, you start getting into a little bit of passion. Evening, you start getting into ignorance and things like that. So there is always there, right? So Vishuddha Sattvam, which is pure goodness, is what we should be aiming for, right? But there is one place where there are no modes of material nature, and which will be a place which is not material at all, right? So in the spiritual planets, there are no modes of material nature, because remember, modes of material nature, as the name suggests, apply only to the material things, right? So that's something is what we are aiming for. So because the material, and then Bhagavatam, later on in the later cantos, we'll see that in the personal abode of Krishna, they define the personal abode of Krishna, and they say that the modes of material nature are absent over there. And then actually, Sukadeva Goswami says, and in Canto 2, it's Sukadeva Goswami who's speaking. He says that, of course, there are no modes of material nature. There's no time also in the spiritual planet. And then he says, what to talk about having the modes of material nature, even Maya cannot enter into that region. It's that high. But if the soul works properly, then the soul will be able to go there. Right? And because the soul is pure, the soul is spiritual. It's just that it comes here and it says, it thinks that I am this body. So this is the infection, or this is the disease that we talk about. That, like as Vaisheshika Prabhu says so many times, this body is a disease. This body is a disease, like that. So if you are in a noisy environment, if you can mute yourself, please. Right. So interesting thing is that, from the bottom of the planetary system all the way up to the highest planetary systems, everywhere there are modes of material nature, because this is the material mode. And everyone gets affected by the modes of material nature. Nobody is above the modes of material nature. Even Brahma can get affected by the modes of material nature, like that. So very interesting thing is that they use the term infection over here. And we have to understand that your material life begins only when you get infected by the modes of material nature, right? And infection basically means that, now you are imbibing those qualities that are actually modes of the material nature, qualities of the material nature, qualities of material objects, and, qualities of material thoughts, and so on and so forth, right? So, for example, just because the jiva comes into contact with material world doesn't mean that he has got infected. We have to be very clear in our mind. Just because a jiva is in a body doesn't mean that he is infected by the modes of material nature. The choice is in your hand, like that. As you elevate yourself, then you overcome the modes of material nature, right? It's almost like if you go to a jail, right? So inside a jail, there is a human being has been put into the jail, right? And so he's conditioned by the jail, because now he has to follow all the rules and regulations of the jail. He'll be given only this much to eat. He has to wake up at certain time. He has to do so much of work. He cannot use the internet, so on and so forth, like that, depending on the jail that he's in, right? So if a person is in the jail, he's definitely infected by the jail. But what about the warden of the jail? Do all the rules of the jail apply to him? No, right? He doesn't have to get up at a particular time. He doesn't have to do menial labor and things like that. So you have to be infected by the modes of the material nature to actually start exhibiting the qualities. For example, the story that I told you about Indra, he was affected by the modes of and infected by the modes of material nature. He was thinking, I'm a pig, and he was acting as a pig, right? So you get completely conditioned. But what we have to do is that, although I am in the material nature, I am in contact with the material nature, but I will not get infected by them. And devotional service will take you to that. Mam chayo abhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samitityatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So that is in the 14th chapter, in the end of the 14th chapter, Krishna says that if you engage in full devotional service to me, and which is mam chayo abhyabhicharena. Abhyabhicharena means that you are doing it without any fail. So if you're going to do it without any fail, then you will reach me. And then you will transcend these modes of material nature. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. You are elevated to the Brahman platform. Brahman here means the spiritual platform, right? Not Brahmana, not Brahma as in Lord Brahma, like that. So it is possible for us, even if we are born here in a particular body, like that, right? So having now known about the modes of the material nature, that these are the modes, and we also kind of know, and maybe just talk a little bit about that depending on the modes of material nature and how much they affect your consciousness and what kind of a consciousness you are, Krishna has organized the society, right? Chaturvarnam maya srishtam, right? That's in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So let me bring out this verse, because I think we could have a look at that. So it is 413, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, to 413. Bingo, here. And coming up on a screen close to you is verse number 413. Posting it here. Okay. There we go. Please confirm, somebody who's not in a noisy environment can unmute and tell me whether you got it or not.
Yes, Mataji,
Got
you
it?
got it.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let me just start sharing the screen with you. And I need to find my Zoom something here. Mam chayobhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samitityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Okay. Chaturvarnam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasaha tasya kartaram apimam vidya akartaram avyayam. So Krishna is saying, according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Right? So we have to keep this in mind, that this division of society has been created and done by Lord Sri Krishna. And like anything that God does, it is just very, very fantastic system. Right? So let's look into the purport here and see what does Prabhupada say about connecting these varnas with the modes. So here it says that Krishna is the creator of the four divisions of social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men, technically called Brahmanas, right? So the first thing is that a Brahmana belongs to the intelligent class of men. Now, can you tell me what part of what act of Aswatthama told you that he was not intelligent? Which act?
Doesn't know how to
Yes,
call the Brahmastra again.
yes, yes. He does not know how to retract the Brahmastra, and yet he released it. That is not intelligence, right? So from here you see that he's not a Brahmana, and that's why Krishna is calling him Brahma Bandhu. Next is the administrative class, technically called the Kshatriyas due to their being situated in the mode of passion. The mercantile men, called the Vaishyas, are situated in the mixed mode of passion and ignorance, and the Shudras or labor class is situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. In spite of his creating, these God is above that. So obviously, because these are coming from the modes of material nature, right? The tendency of a particular man towards work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life, according to the different modes of material nature, are described in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, like that. Okay, so continuing on, so we have got Krishna has created all these divisions of society, and now we know what the divisions are, and we also know that what is a Brahmana. We also know that Aswatthama has actually defied. He was born in a Brahmin family. He had very nice ambience around him. His father was a Brahmana. He could have picked that up, right? But he did not do that. Right? He decided he was into his friends, and he was like, oh, Duryodhan, why did they do this to my friend? And he wanted to prove to his friend that, okay, they killed you like that, so I'm going to completely annihilate the Pandava clan, Pandava dynasties. Let me go and kill all the Pandavas. And of course, accidentally he killed the Pandava's sons, which was all same thing, killing the dynasty, trying to annihilate the dynasty there, right? So he should have worked, he should have had some self-control over his anger or over his disappointment that his friend had lost, right? He should have had some tolerance of whatever, your destiny is doing to you. He did not have that. He was not religious. He was not following the rules like that. So these are some of the qualities with which the Brahmanas work, and he was not working with that, right? Instead, he was trying to imitate and behave as if he's a Kshatriya who will, I'm going to kill them, right? Like that. So one of the things that we have to keep in mind, and if somebody just thinks of that, is that and from Aswatthama's example also, we see that Dronacharya, look at his father, how magnanimous his father is, right? We see in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita where Duryodhan says, Drishtva tu Panduvanikam Vyudham Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. So as soon as Duryodhan sees the army and the nice arrangement of the Pandavas, he immediately goes to his teacher, Dronacharya, and he says, Paschetam Panduputranam Vyudham Mahatim Chumum Vyudhan Dupatputrena Tavashishyena Dhimata. So he's saying that, oh, behold the mighty, army of the Pandavas arranged in this beautiful phalanx. and arranged by your intelligent disciple Drishtadyumna, right? So he's pointing out to his teacher and saying Drishtadyumna. Now, the thing about the Drishtadyumna was that Drishtadyumna was created by his father Drupad. He was born because his father wanted to have somebody who could kill Dronacharya. So everybody knows that this person has been created, has been born because for one purpose, and main purpose, and that is to kill Dronacharya. Yet, look at this now. Drupad just comes there, and Drupad says that I want you to train my son. Now, this is amazing, right? You're producing a son that's going to kill me, and you want me to train him in military arts? What is that, right? But look at the magnanimity, and that's what a Brahmana is. That he is going and saying, all right, send him in, I will teach him. And he teaches that to him, right? So that is one magnanimity. Second, he's a Brahmana, is that it was Krishna's desire that he fight on the side of the Kauravas. Now, even till this date, as they say in Hindi, thu thu karte hain. People are constantly criticizing him for his activities, right? And they point out, oh yeah, he was getting money from the Kauravas, and that's why he sided with the Kauravas. But the inner hidden meaning of that, and Acharyas tell us, is that they did that so that Krishna could prove through this whole Mahabharat play of Mahabharat that even though you could be the most talented and the most powerful person in the world, obviously Dronacharya is the teacher of Arjuna and he's the teacher of Drishtadyumna. Teacher always knows a little more than the students. So he knows more than both of them. So when such a person is fighting, he will win, right? The one who knows more, the one who's more expert in the military arts is going to win. But he was on the wrong side. So if you are on the wrong side, then you will not win. If you're not on Krishna's side, then in the long run, you will not win at all. So look at that. Just to prove this point of Krishna, he and both Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya have agreed to take such a role, the role of a villain. And everybody constantly criticizes them. So that's what a Brahmana is. Now, his son is not like a Brahmana at all. And that proves the point that, that Brahmana, you're a Brahmana or a Vaishya, etc., not because you are born in the family of a Brahmana or you came from the womb of a Brahmana or from a Brahmana father. Because if you're still saying Brahmana, 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 the Brahmana is the consciousness of the soul. What are the types of souls? Desire, compassion, humility, those kind of qualities, are the qualities of the consciousness which are belong to the soul. The body is just a body. In any case, the body changes all over, right? Right from the time you are born, you are beginning to die. The body is changing, right? And the interesting thing is that if a Brahmana, if the body was a Brahmana, so Chaturvarna Maya Shrishtam, and this is more based on the consciousness and not on the body, because if the body is a Brahman body and the body is a Kshatriya body is a Shudra body, then the Brahmana should never be cremated. Because how can you cremate a Brahmana? It's a Brahman body. It is a Brahmana, and you never kill a Brahmana. How can you set fire to a Brahmana like that, right? So we have to remember that he's behaving, he's exhibiting these kind of qualities which are not at all a Brahmana quality. And even though he's born in a Brahmana family, he will not be called as a Brahmana. So your proclivity to do a certain activity does not depend on your parentage. You will see that there are very qualified, well-read parents, and the kids just don't want to read. Or they are very demonic parents and their children are complete devotees of the Lord. And can you give me an example?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj was born in the family of demons, right? And then we also see that among the descendants of Dhruv Maharaj, there was a king, there was a king called Anga. He was a very saintly king. And he had a son called Vena. Vena was so bad that he would kill his, playmates even when he was a small boy of 4 or 5 years old. He would kill his playmates just for the heck of it, just for the fun part of it, like that. So you see, a horrible demon kind of a person was born to a saintly king called Anga, like that. So we have to remember that these proclivities are not coming from there. The proclivities are coming from place else, right? So a Brahmana is one who has, these characteristics. And then when it also comes to like, what does a Brahmana do? So a Brahmana, now this is Kali Yuga, so everything is hodgepodge. And Prabhupada clearly declares, like, you all are Shudras, and we all are, depending on the way we were, conceived and given birth to, we all are Shudras. And then to make matters even worse, even if you're born in a Brahmana family, we still have to work, right? Because Brahmanas usually would just do patan, yajan, right? And that is, you study and then you do, worship, priestly activities and things like that. And you would subsist and sustain yourself on the grants that would be given to you by the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas. But nobody wants to give grants. They're like, oh, wow, how come? I'm not going to give you food. I'm not going to give you money. You're going to just sit and eat and not do anything while I slot myself out, in corporate America. No, you also come and work. So you will find Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Kshatriyas. None of them are following their social order. They're all working like Shudras. They are in service. They like to do service, right? Like that. So Kali Yuga is a hodgepodge, is a big hodgepodge, but then we have to understand that Brahmana, what a Brahmana is supposed to do. And can you tell me of an avatar of Krishna where he comes as a Brahmana? This one, obviously, he was born in the Kshatriya family.
Vali Maharaj.
Yeah, but give me the name of Krishna. Bali Maharaj is not Krishna.
Vaman Dev.
Vaman Dev, exactly, right? So he comes as a Brahmana, and of course we know the story of Vaman Dev, right? So yeah, so one of the things is that a Brahmana, again, we said that, he'll do patan, yajan. A Brahmana is one who knows Brahman. So that is how, we define them in the Shastras, that Brahmana knows Brahman. So they have knowledge of the absolute truth, but only of Brahman. And that's why I took some time explaining Brahman and Brahmana, right? So Brahman is the effulgence of the Lord. They kind of reach only till that stage. So they are usually the impersonalist in nature. They go there. And then there is one who is beyond the Brahmana. And who is that? One who is beyond a Brahmana. What's the name for that? One who is even beyond the Brahmana.
Vaishnav.
No, Parabrahma is a name. Parabrahma is a name that is reserved for God. And what did I hear on Zoom? I heard the right answer. I just don't know who.
Vaishnav.
Vaishnava, yeah. Even beyond the Brahmana, there is Vaishnava, one who knows Vishnu, and one who does devotional service to Vishnu is actually called a Vaishnava and is at the highest level, right? Otherwise, we are all called Dvija. So Dvija Bandhu or Brahmana Bandhu is what we are called, right? So Dvij, at the time of birth, all of us are born as Shudras. Say Janmane Jayate Shudra. Samskarat Bhaved Dvija. It's only by everybody's born as Shudra. And then you do some samskaras. So what are some of the samskaras that you do when a child is born?
Garbdharan Sanskar.
Oh, Garbdhan happens before the child is born, right? But good, yeah, it should be done. And then after the child is born, what are the things that you do?
Naming ceremony, Mataji.
Yeah, you have the naming ceremony, you have the graining ceremony, and then after that you have the Yagyopavit ceremony, right? So where they give them the sacred thread. So at the time when they get the sacred thread, that is known as the second birth. That's why they are also called Dvija. They are born 2 times. And so this thread giving ceremony is given to Brahmanas, people who are born in Brahmana families, and also people in the Kshatriya family. So they are called Dvijas, right? And then you'll also come across a term called Vipra, right? So Vipra is that, when a person is knowledgeable in the Shastras, he's known as Vipra, right? You just have knowledge. I know all the verses, I know all the shlokas, I memorized this, I memorized that, like that, right? The Brahmana is at a higher level than a Vipra. Okay? He will be applying those things, and he also has knowledge of the Brahmana. But above the Brahmana, is the Vaishnava. And clearly we know that our Aswatthama, is not a Vaishnava, is not even a Brahmana. He's just a Brahmana Bandhu. And that's why now Krishna is saying, because he has done something wrong, right? And he knows that Arjuna is going to think that he's a Brahmana. Brahmana should not be killed, period. I'm not going to do anything. So Arjuna is going to go into that cycle of I won't do anything, which he does in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. He's going to do that again here. So Krishna is in a very smart manner. Krishna is saying he's a Brahma Bandhu. He's just a relative of a Brahmana. So don't go that route that Brahmana should not be killed. Kill him like that, or do whatever you're supposed to do. And then we will see more instructions from Krishna coming, and then others also from his family are going to say things. Bhima is going to be very vocal about what's to be done and what not to be done, like that. Okay, so I'll stop over here and take a few reflections before we call it a day on this call. Any thoughts that come to your mind? Any questions that come to your mind?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I missed this one. Brahmin and Brahmana. Brahman. Brahmin and Brahmana.
Brahmin is an English word. It's an English word. It's a word in English for addressing and calling a Brahmana. A Brahmana in the English language is called Brahmin. Brahmin. I put that in the Zoom chat. Brahmin and Brahmana, they're two different things there. Okay.
Yeah, I like to say thank you to explaining Brahman and Brahman, because just whenever I read, I just got confused. Like, who is Brahman? And I know a little bit, but now when you explain, this is totally.
Yeah, it's all coming from Prabhupada's literature and Prabhupada's translation of the literature that we come to know about this. Yeah. And there's a question there on Facebook by Bhagishri Mataji, and she's saying, how could Brahma also get affected by modes of material nature? Is Brahma Loka considered in material world or in the spiritual plane? So Brahma gets affected by the modes of material nature because, one, he's a Jiva soul. He's a Jiva soul, and he's on the Brahma Loka or Satya Loka, as it's also called. And that is within the material world. It's the topmost planet of the material world, but nonetheless, it is still a material planet. So all the laws of material nature apply to him. And Brahma might seem to have a very long life, and it might look that, he never dies, but he does. When the universal cataclysm happens, when the whole universe is annihilated, Brahma also leaves his body and goes back to Godhead at that time. But up until then, he stays here for a very long time, which runs into trillions, I think 3.11 trillion, 41 billion or something like that. Bhagavad Gita has 8th chapter has got that figure there. You can read from there, but it's a long time. Yes, so short answer, Brahma, Lord Brahma is material.
Hare Krishna Mataji, very nice lecture. I like that point you mentioned. Brahman is magnanimous, like Dronacharya. He taught the son of Drupad, Dishtadum, in spite of knowing that he can kill him, and how Duryodhan was pointing out that it is your fault, and they are listening silently everything because of Krishna's plan, desires.
Yes, they were surrendered to Krishna's plans. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I see also that Vidya Badhu had answered that who's higher than a Brahmana is a Vaishnava. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then we'll call it a day here on this call. And we will meet again tomorrow at 6 o'clock for Bhakti Vriksh. And then even before that, at 7 a.m. in the morning, Vaisheshika Prabhu is going to do the International Japa Circle. And then at 8 o'clock or 8:15, we're going to have the Srimad Bhagavatam class by him. All those, His classes will be on ISV's channel. And if you don't know what ISV's channels are, Facebook, etc., then you can go to my website, nityasankirtan.com, and you can see his schedule also from there. Okay. So I'd like to take your leave after I offer my obeisances to you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. If all of you can unmute yourself and give me a big Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Go Premanande. Hari Hari. Bol. Have a fantastic rest of the day.